Back in the main game for Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet, we were introduced to Titan Pokémon, and Arven told us that they could look like these things in the books. Well, there certainly was a Great Tusk or Iron Treads outside of the crater, but those are Paradox Pokémon and they shouldn't be anywhere near the Asado Desert. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and how did that happen? Let's get into it. Well, welcome to the channel where every day without a trailer brings me closer and closer to madness. Today, that led me back to those two Paradox Pokémon that somehow escaped the Great Crater of Paldea, and that is something that was never explained to us. I have raised the question before, though I never really answered it past the DLC, and I'm sure you're all very curious about it as well. After all, we do have flying Paradox Pokémon that could leave the crater at any time if they wanted to do so, and even Screamtail could just float to Medali, I guess. But no, it was the two that were least likely to be outside of the crater that actually were outside of the crater. The only times we see this being referenced is when Arven talks about it right when we first meet him, no crazy vibes at all, and also when we search through the mysterious magazine known as the Occulture. Arven is clearly on a mission to save his friend, his Mabosstiff, so he is basically believing in anything that he finds on the Scarlet and Violet books. But in fact, at that point, a lot of it is something that he doesn't believe in, not until it starts seeing the actual effects of the Herba Mystica. Now, but the one writing for the Occulture, they truly believe on that. And if you've been following the channel, you saw my video on that, probably, and if you don't follow the channel, well, please subscribe and here's the video if you want to check it out. But if you don't care about the arguments, I think it is Briar. That we know of, she is the only one besides Arven and the professors that believe in such things. And like I said, Arven starts believing in some of them throughout the game. Which is strange, he did know Koraidon and Miraidon, and presumably another dangerous Area Zero Pokémon, the one that attacked Mabosstiff. But hey, some of us are just more skeptic than others. The point is, not many people believe in that, especially people that are in no way, shape or form connected to the crater. And the number of people with access to the crater is very limited. The Pokémon League has access to at least the research, and we do know that Clavel was down there at some point, working with the professors, and we also know that Jack worked with Clavel, so he might have been there as well. But apart from them, nobody really knows what we know is down there, at least until we started having picnics with them outside in Paldea. There's always a chance of a hidden path, of course. We will 100% explore more of Area Zero in the Indigo Disk, and it could lead somewhere else in Paldea. But today, we explore human interference, as that is more fun. So, as much as I want to blame it all on Geeta, as I used to do, I think she will end up innocent, much to my dismay, by the way. In my opinion, it will be a waste of a potential evil champion, a never-before-seen situation unless you count N, which, well, it wasn't evil, just weird and manipulated. Despite that Glimora ace and its connection to Area Zero, it might just be that. She might have even visited it before the Paradox Pokémon were there, but I don't think she will have a hand on it. Clavel was surprised by even seeing Koraidon and Miraidon and knowing that that was one of the Pokémon that the professor was rambling about. That means it is not him, and the same goes for Clive, that one character that they want us to think is Clavel. Jack would be a great twist, but his role of being the one that gives us the shiny charm and all that means that unless they tell you seek all Pokemon, once again like in Pokemon Legends Arceus, he will have to keep that role until you decide to finish the Pokédex. That to me gives us two other possibilities. The first one is the opposing professor, the one that left. They might have continued the research somehow and found a way to bring the Pokemon outside of the crater or just make them appear outside of the crater. And the other possibility is the best one for me, and that is that Briar did it. It is no secret that I believe Briar will be the evil, or at least the misguided villain of the DLC. While Kyurem will likely be the final boss of the Blueberry Academy, the champion of the BB League, Briar will play a role on the following part when we go back to Area Zero to tie the knots, or some of the knots, of the tale of Scarlet and Violet. And why would she do this? Well, that's easy. She wants to get into the crater. By writing for the Occulture, she's trying to bring attention to the actual existence of Paradox Pokémon. I mean, she needs an actual reason to get in there, and if they actually exist, then she is justified in using the Scarlet and Violet books as a reason to actually go in there. Sada and Turo had Terra Energy as a reason to go down there with their team. Briar is just a personal quest. But just tales of the Occulture aren't enough to make people believe in that. People need to actually see it with their own eyes. And so she has to find a way to do that. She cannot get into the crater, but I believe she has found a way to harness the strange power that Terra Energy seems to hide. A way to make sure that what's in the books becomes a reality. a way to make people believe in Heath or at least get her closer and closer to Terrapagos. The only problem is, I think she found out about that after Kitakami in the Crystal Pool, as I explained in this video, and the fact that we can do the main game first and only then experience the first part of the DLC is a flaw in my theory, while at the same time not really being one. If a time loop, a cycle, is actually created by Briar, there's a chance that things just happen before the reason why they're happening actually takes place. That and well, the gameplay previews for the Indigo disc talked about something that was in the Blueberry Academy that people described either as a globe or a disc, and that something has the power of Terra energy. So we can assume that it was through that Briar actually happened to learn how to use Terra energy in the first place. And that, well, that got me wondering. The only other crystal-like globe we have is that Pokeball on top of our academy, a relatively new addition, something told to us by Ryford. What if that was a gift by someone? And, continuing on the trend of Briar being able to send messages to the past, what if that gift was influenced by Briar? Maybe even a gift by Cyrano, for example. What if that Pokeball also has the power of Terra energy, and what if it is through that Briar can set her plan into motion? Using it to bring an actual Paradox Pokemon, a Great Tusk or Iron Threads, to the outside of the Great Crater, to the Asado Desert, making sure that people see it and believe what your culture says, what she says, and then making sure that those in charge have to honor her request to enter Area Zero, to enter the Great Crater of Paldea, as a way to apologize for the years and years of Heath being ridiculed for the Scarlet and Violet books. And that is all I have for you today. Briar is the reason why those two are out of the crater. But what about you? Do you have any other explanations? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, it's in there Wednesday to Friday, all the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.